Today we're diving into a legal mess involving President Trump. The president, he speaks unfiltered. It's part of the reason why people like him. He says what's on his mind. It's not scripted. He's not reading from a teleprompter. But now his words are getting him in trouble in court. The judges are using his words as ammunition. Let's get into it. President Trump likes to talk about his achievements, which includes slashing the federal workforce, freezing funding, cutting programs, and Elon Musk, he's there cheering on the sidelines. So recently, as President Trump's addressing Congress, he had this to say. Check this out.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
He created DOGE, headed by Elon Musk. Those are the words the judge is focused on. So he's leading DOGE. He's leading this effort. Well, the White House will say he's just an advisor. In fact, he's not even in DOGE. He's on the outside. Someone else is actually the administrator of DOGE, not him. He's just advising. So which is it? Is he running the show or is he advising? You have to be careful with words because they have meaning. Elon Musk is certainly tweeting like a boss on X as US aid has its doors shuttered and employees are being furloughed. He's on X. We spent the weekend feeding US aid to the wood chipper. That's a pretty blunt tweet, and some people might find it humorous, but it ignores the thousands of people who are now out of a job. It ignores the millions of people that were positively being impacted by the international programs that US aid provided. Yeah, some fraud, waste, and abuse is gone, but the entire agency was not 100% fraud, waste, and abuse. There was a useful aspect of that program. You could do two things at once. You can cut fraud, waste, and abuse, and you can also be professional about it. Now, a judge is saying Elon Musk's post suggests that he's calling the shots, not just suggesting. The ruling was clear. Elon Musk likely overstepped, violated the Constitution by dismantling U.S. aid without having the proper authority. He has not been confirmed by Senate. He is there in an advisory capacity. And he did pretty much the same thing when he was sending out the email to the federal workers. He was saying that if you do not respond, we will take that as a resignation. You do not have the authority to send that message out. You really don't. I mean, I understand it's your private account, you're a private citizen, but when you say things like that, you have the influence to make millions of people believe that you have the legal authority. When in reality, it's the agency's head, it's the cabinet secretaries that possess that authority. Between President Trump saying that Elon's leading and Elon's wood chipper tweet, between those two things, the judge is having a hard time believing that he's just an advisor. There are nearly 24 lawsuits that are hitting DOGE right now. They've won some, but they've also lost some as well. Trump and Elon Musk are saying that DOGE has substantial independent authority. Does that mean terminating employees? Does that mean cutting contracts? Does that mean freezing the funding? That should not be in DOGE's purview. So President Trump recently has been communicating with the agency heads and telling them, you need to stand up and take credit for this stuff. We can't say it's DOGE doing this. DOGE doesn't have the authority. They're recommending it to you, and you have to claim it is your idea. So you're the Secretary of Labor, or you're the Secretary of Agriculture. You have to say, I wanted to fire these people. I wanted to cut these programs. Now, the problem is DOGE was in there before leadership was present. So in that agency, there wasn't much leadership present there when DOGE came in, made their suggestions, made the recommendations. And a lot of people in those agencies, they took those recommendations as a mandate. They did, because they thought it was coming from the Trump administration. They thought it was coming from Elon Musk. They know how influential, how powerful that man is, and they took it as the word of the law, so they followed it. Now, the White House defends it. This is Trump keeping his promise. Efficient government, taxpayers win. He's calling judges and bureaucrats rogue. He's calling them obstructionist. And there's even talk of impeachment of federal judges. Now, it's very rare and challenging to impeach a federal judge. The last time this happened was 15 years ago. It was 2010, and the reason for it was for corruption and misconduct. This judge was accepting bribes from attorneys. That's not what's going on here. That doesn't look like what's happening here. So Why is this a big deal? First, President Trump's agenda is on the line. DOGE is the president's sledgehammer, and he's swinging it around for the next year. Second, it's a power test. Who has the power? Can President Trump really fire and hire any single person that he wants within the executive branch with no regard whatsoever to civil service protections or any of the other regulations that were ruled upon and that were passed in Congress? And then third is the taxpayer. So when you hire and fire and freeze and unfreeze, all that takes a lot of effort. All that takes money, believe it or not. It takes resources to do actions. And right now, with all the knee-jerk movements, it's consuming a lot of resources. Who's paying for all of that? You're paying for all of that. We're paying for all of that because we're taxpayers. President Trump's bluntness won him the votes, but in court, it's a liability. The president's plan is to keep DOGE running until July 4th of 2026, so we can keep cutting and slashing and reducing and freezing, or shall I say, recommending that to happen. What happens if the courts say that DOGE is too powerful? It should not have the authority it has. We could see it dissolve before then. The best guess is a lot of these actions, they're going to go to the Supreme Court. They're going to probably take it all the way to the Supreme Court, and then finally, once a verdict is reached there, then hopefully everybody respects it. Okay, let's talk about another presidential action that was recently signed. This one's surprising because it reduces the minimum wage for federal contractors. The minimum wage for federal contractors was $17.75, really close to $18 an hour. Now, this is for blue-collared work. So President Trump recently, he did this presidential action. It's going to reduce it from almost $18 an hour, and he's going to take it down below $13 an hour. So you're dramatically impacting the blue-collar workers. And who voted for you the most? Who is your base? Your base is the blue-collared workers. This action could be the result of a $10,000 loss each year for the average blue-collar worker that's a federal contractor. This is surprising, to say the least, but it does benefit some people. You know who it benefits? It benefits the companies because they pay their workers less. They have a greater profit margin. They can pass those profits on to the shareholders. Maybe more people invest in the company. So everyone's doing great, supposedly, except for the worker. The worker has drawn the short stick. And who is the worker? Well, the worker often, they're custodians, they're food service workers, security guards, and maintenance staff, among other people. But unfortunately, these salary cuts, it's just not impacting these people. We have an entire federal agency that is about to experience a 25% reduction in their salary, in their paychecks. And it's in one of the worst federal agencies in the entire federal government. If you want to know more about that, check this video out next. If you need a federal resume example, check out the links down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.